Hi.
Hello. Hello from the other side. Oh, that sounded like we're dead.
Yeah, it sounds like we're dead.
Well, we aren't we kind of dead?
True.
I don't know why, but when we were live, your sound became completely different than when we were backstage.
That's weird because literally nothing. I changed literally nothing.
No, but like your volume is much higher than it was like 4 seconds ago. I'm not even joking.
That's weird.
That's super weird, but whatever. Either way.
Okay.
Hello. I forgot what we were doing.
We're
Um,
here for
how
first
follow
of all
with
a
us?
cover.
It was our November book. It's like 18 days ago. It's not that much. So we're gonna talk about this. It is a YA sci-fi. Is it sci-fi? We can discuss that later.
Dystopian is sci-fi, so it's sci-fi.
I guess. Oh, you're so cute with your hair
I
like
took
that.
I
Either
took a
way.
history of science fiction course in college, so we had to read like 10 science fiction books and we had a whole discussion. So it's like if it's dystopia, it's sci-fi.
Oh yeah, for sure. And yeah, we're gonna discuss this, which was our November pick, our December pick. If you're just here and like, I was gonna say don't care. It is fifth season by Anke Jemisin, so you're supposed to read that this month. The live should be in January,
I
and
actually
yeah,
own the book,
I know you told me.
but it's at my friend's house.
I
She,
know you told me this too.
did I?
Yeah,
I'm sleep deprived.
it's fine. And then news about like what's happening after fifth season will come soon.
Yes.
Yes. So, thoughts on this?
I don't know. Did you want to start or did you want me to start?
I don't know. Finally made it for one of the live shows that I have bath for most relaxation too.
Ooh, sounds fun.
Nice. Don't get water on your computer or whatever you're using.
Could be fun.
Got my notes already. Do I even have notes? I want to check.
I
I think I gave up. Well, you
love
can
it.
start while I try to find my notes.
Okay. Okay. This is the book is the definition of a mixed bag because I liked a lot of elements of it, but I also didn't like a lot of elements of it. I guess like general non-spoilery things. I really liked the religious allegory of it. I liked our main character kind of, but I'll talk about that later. Um I like the gore. I didn't like the lack of world building. I didn't like the lack of detail. And I didn't like the lack of, or I didn't like the constant repetition.
I think you just summed up my thoughts. I can just go.
I'm like, there's more, but like,
I can
that's
just
like,
leave. No, but that's basically like I'm the same. Like there were some things I really enjoy. Like I like that main character. I like the gore because I like bloody, disgusting stuff.
Mhm.
But the rest was just.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it reminded me a lot, which I don't know. It's not really a compliment, but it reminded me a lot of Gear Breakers that we read.
Oh,
It has the same vibe where the concept is really cool, but then it's just kind
mhm.
of like a jumbled mess. And I was just sitting there like, this is
I like
it.
this one more than Gear Breakers, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like this more than Gear Breakers, but there's like a half-star difference for me. Like
Mhm.
Gear Breakers was more for the mess, but like it reminded me of that vibe because that was also like sci-fi, and it was
Mhm.
really just like back and forth with this other force, and I was just like,
True.
it had the same flaws in a way, just that the stories are of course very different.
Yep. It's funny. I was looking at reviews, and one person said that it was just pretty much Resident Evil. And
Ah,
I don't
yeah,
know anything about Resident Evil, but I'm like, that makes sense. From trailers, that makes sense. Yeah.
there's people here. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Just spam on my notes.
Love it.
Reread fifth season. Reason I think I reread. I've seen Gate this month to refresh my memory.
Love
Well,
it.
don't come with a spoiler. No, I'm joking.
You
I have
spoil
read.
me, I will be mad. Okay.
The beginning of the book has lots of action. I appreciated that.
Yeah, that was nice.
So also another flaw of this book is that it was really boring. It had
Oh
a
my
really
god, it's boring.
exciting thing, but I was so bored. I was just like, I don't care about anything. Can we just murder someone?
Like it started off interesting, and then I would say it got boring by the time I would say Benji got to like the LGBT center, which is like 50 pages in, and I was like, all right, I'm
I
like,
was so bored. Like the plot wasn't even interesting, and just like how the world was, I was so confused because
Oh my
this is
god.
not a spoiler, but
Yeah.
when they talked about an archangel and angels, I thought that this was kind of like futuristic, like
Mm.
fantasy-ish. I thought they were literal angels, like they were actual angels. So I would just imagine this like kind of like, I don't know, angels from Doctor Who, just that they're not in stone and being like
Yeah.
super creepy going after them, but like in the future in the in like space or something.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my god, this really eerie picture. And then it was just like people. It was just a random religious group
It's
that
funny.
just called themselves angels. And I was just like, that's so boring.
It's funny you went that way, and I went with biblically accurate angels, which are creepy monster demons. Let me show you a picture.
Yeah, like I kind of like got that vibe too. Like they were kind of, I thought they were monsters. It's kind of like I thought the angels had taken over, like kind of like a zombie
Like I
apocalypse.
was assuming this thing was gonna come out of the trenches. Like
Okay,
that's what I saw angels. I'm like, oh, so that's like this demon.
the angels were literally just stupid people. It was like the most boring thing in the whole world.
It was. We could also talk about the world building because it was like I felt for a second. I had a moment. I'm like, am I dumb? Was I sleep deprived? Like I had a second. I was like, did I miss
Wait,
something?
what?
Like
With this comment here, what plot?
exactly. Exactly.
Oh, oh,
That's why we're mixed about it because the plot was confusing. Let's see. What did the other people say?
reminded me of Starland, I guess because they're running from cults. But
Sure.
Starland was much more sophisticated and better written
Yes.
and more interesting.
Yes. I did like.
Even though the ending of Starland was a bit of a mess, but like
Yeah.
generally much more interesting.
The one I liked more about this one than Starland, like this just little thing, is that I like that, of course, since the main character has like the whole Bible memorized, they would just constantly like throw out Bible references and quotes because obviously they would.
I just ignore that part.
I was just kind of like, I was just kind of like reading. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you know
I
what I mean?
guess
Obviously, they would be thinking like
I
that.
guess another part of me, like this is a biased opinion from my part, is that I don't like biblical stories that
Mhm.
like I just don't care about God and everyone fearing God and everyone being scared of angels and hell to come. It's really uninteresting. It's so overused as well. It's like just most typical thing. And I was just bored because that kind of storyline bores me because
Yeah.
I don't care. I would rather read about someone being feared of like a god is not real,
Hmm.
like that is made up. But it was
Yeah.
just like it was just the Bible. And I was just I don't care.
Yeah. I think it would be more interesting if it was like a fake religion.
Yeah.
Or like original religion doesn't exist, or maybe if it just wasn't Christianity, maybe if it was like a not a lesser known religion, but like a religion that isn't as covered as much in cult like styles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I think I'd be like, okay,
But one part I do understand why they used it is because, Christianity is very transphobic.
yeah, which makes
So I
sense.
do get like it was used against it because our main character is trans. So I
Yeah,
get it, but it doesn't make for my preference in the story. I was just like when I realized it was about Christianity and I was just like, ugh,
true,
instantly.
true.
Hi Fiji.
Hello,
All
hello.
yes to the gore. I want it to be nasty. True.
True. I did appreciate that the YA was nasty, and I was like, okay. I was excited about that.
Definitely agree about the lack of details and world building important for being a 5 star for me. Oh,
Yeah,
ratings. I don't know what I think I would give it a 3 star,
that's
but I
fine.
could also lower it.
Yeah, well, like, it's gonna depend on this discussion. I feel like my rating always changes by the end, so I'm like, I'm just gonna reveal it.
I always lower my ratings after the launch.
I feel like I always lower it too. We're always just like, wow, it was great. After we talk, was it? Was it really that good?
Yeah, but I think like it's interesting to discuss.
True.
Still, I found all the side characters to be very 2D.
Yes.
Which side characters? I don't remember anyone.
It's like the only one I vaguely was like, oh, that's cool was Salvador, but again, everybody, even Salvador was
I just
2D.
remember some people being like, "Oh, we're talking," and then some other people were like, "Oh, I lost my love." I don't even know. Were they important?
It was just
Poor Benji could not catch a break. He got 2 brain splat in his face all within 3 chapters.
literally
Yeah, lovely. Yeah,
constant.
because the dad's advice really fucked him up. I was like, "Screw being good, just unleash the beast and beat some asses."
True.
Only here for you, because I haven't read it.
You know what? That's okay.
That's okay. Hello.
Hello.
I felt Wright really shot himself in the foot by talking about intonation things. The Robin did not support none of that. What is intonation?
I'm not sure either.
I'm gonna Google the word. I might just be stupid.
I could-
Internation. What does internation mean? Existing or occurring between nations.
Oh, like almost an intergalactic. You mean like conflicts between everybody? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Between like the religious people and the our main characters, and then the adults that would supply them food, and they would give them ears. I'm assuming that, but that makes
It's
sense.
my birthday, and here because I love this book. I feel bad now. Happy
Whoa, Lord,
birthday
get
or birthday party. Really glad you loved it, but I feel
honey,
bad
you're
now.
in a big storm is you're a big storm is coming. We're gonna ruin it.
Bible accurate energy is literally 110% wings and nothing else. Furballs.
Yeah, I just assumed biblically accurate angels for some reason.
I'm also ignore the Bible stuff too because organized religion over creeps me out. Same. That's why
Same.
I want fictional
Freaks me out.
religion because I'm just like,
Yeah. But also, like, I was raised Christian, but not this kind of Christian. So I was like, what is
I
this?
mean, I was baptized and I had to go to church for like
Yeah.
confirmation shit. But I was I was
Yeah.
forced to. Okay, I wanted money. Okay.
Yeah, same. I was trying to get in the will, but I had to be Mormon for a good amount of my life. So
Norman, a
yeah, which is
Mormon,
not, huh?
Mormon.
Yeah, all the way up until I was like
Dang.
16.
What did they do when they said you were gay?
That's why I have religious trauma. Anyway.
We can talk about this later. But I needed more content to understand the quotes. I'm barely Christian. I had no idea what he was referencing all the time. That's
Yeah,
also fair because not everyone in the world will read a book and know just because Christianity is known.
exactly. I'm like,
I
where's the Book of Mormon?
liked that it was Christianity. For me, it was a cathartic read. I have read reviews from trans readers saying it was really cathartic for them. Like the
Yeah.
trans rage in the book was really important to them. So,
Mhm.
like, granted, that's why I like our main character. I like that, he was just like, I
God,
want to kill everyone. I was just like, that's a mood.
I was like, me too.
I feel like we needed more of like an Iron Widow vibe for it to work.
Yes, we needed
Because
more revenge, angst, like I don't
yes,
even, like kill the world kind of thing.
not like I don't know what happened here. Like we walked around a bit and then
Yeah, it was just.
he had sex with his boyfriend in a cave, and then a lot of people died. That's what happened.
Yeah, yeah, it was a
Is that
choice.
a spoiler? I'm so sorry, but
No, because you would assume if we said gory, you're gonna assume people died, and it's
yeah.
post-apocalyptic. You're gonna assume people died.
I'm a
Well,
worried person, but I didn't mind the lack of details in this. To be honest, I never need to know much detail as long as the work feels vivid.
see, but this is the thing. It didn't feel vivid, like, or at least to me. Like for example, I could not tell you what literally anything in this world looks like. There was no descriptions of like buildings. There was very little descriptions of people, of like the landscape. I didn't understand. I didn't get that they were wearing masks all the time until 100 pages in.
Oh, I didn't that either. I like there was so many details. I was just like, did I just miss this because I'm an idiot? And then it was also like the distance between like where the angels were and like where the the queer youth center were. Like, how do they hide there? Like, how have they not found them? Kind
Like,
of, you know
like
what
they
I
were,
mean?
yeah, like they were constantly saying, oh, everyone's whispering, have to be quiet. But then also they're constantly outside doing stuff.
Yes, they're outside and they're
Like,
going on like missions to get stuff and all that. Like a lot of like,
yeah, they're just
like what's
casually
it called?
having a barbecue, and I'm like,
Yeah, like
what?
they're having supplies, they're having party. Like how I just didn't get how they were not discovered sooner.
Right? Like it's not like they're hiding in a bunker. They were
No,
very kind of obvious.
so I just didn't understand. I was just like, okay.
We're like, huh, there's only one LGBTQ youth center in this entire city. Wonder where there are.
I think relating so deeply to the village trauma did that job for me. I was
Yeah.
gonna say love that you could relate to it, but I don't love that you went to trauma.
Yeah, you're like, good
You
for
know
you.
what I
Also,
mean?
I'm sorry.
A
Yeah,
non-international thing. I don't even remember international things being mentioned.
I don't either. I'm
Probably
assuming it was
wasn't important.
I
It
know just
wasn't.
the groups.
I would have been. it would have been interesting to hear about how this plague affected people. Yeah,
Yes.
this plague. What plague? Like, we were like, I don't know, 200 pages in, and did I realize that they created kind of a plague thing? And I was just like, where did this come from?
I know what I'm
Because
saying. I was like, is this plague like COVID 3.0? Like, what is this plague? Like, I was like, if COVID made you like vomit black goo, like that's what I assumed this plague was.
also, like, this is not a spoiler, but like, he is on the run because they put like a virus inside of him, which will make him into some kind of creature.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I literally thought that he just had a magical power.
No,
You
I
know,
thought
like Elena from Shadow and Bone, that he was just like one of many people who
I
had
thought he
this
was
magical
special.
power.
I thought
I
he was
didn't
special.
I didn't understand that they had done this to him, and I was just like, oh, it was like just he was an experiment, and like seriously, I was just I was
Yeah.
yeah
I for some reason I assumed that he was going to be like the reborn Messiah kind of thing. Was like he is going to take us to salvation.
yes,
You know what I
that's
mean?
what I also thought. Like he had a power that would take them to heaven or whatever. But
Yeah.
then this virus or whatever was just like you would die, and I was just like, but why did they do it? Why was he important?
Yeah. I
If
was like,
he was
I don't
just gonna be a monster and die anyway.
exactly.
I didn't understand the point of like their experiment.
I didn't either.
You might just be stupid.
We could be.
It's good because I think we are like shredding this to pieces.
Yes.
Cetian introduction is what kept me from thinking of my sexuality for decades.
Mm.
And that's sad, but
That's very sad.
I feel like that is also like the author definitely had themes like that like in the book.
True.
Which is why I can see how that was very aggressive.
That was
Which is why I can like see why a lot of people would enjoy it, you know.
Yeah. True.
So for me, the fact it was Christianity was ideal. It meant it felt as more real and personal. Yesterday, I used to say that I felt I had an anger drain inside of me, repressed but ready to set fire to everything. So that was just great. Well, that's basically what the main character did.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, the autistic rep.
True. I'm not autistic, so I can't tell you if it's good rep. But from the reviews I've read, it seems like it's good.
I thought that was yeah, because the book was written from dual point of view.
Kind of, like it was mostly Benji's point of view.
And then the other dude, I can't remember the other dude's name, was like Nick was like,
wait, I just remembered something that made me burst out laughing. The point where Benji was so surprised that Nick was gay. I was like, honey, why else is he here?
Because they were at a queer youth center. You couldn't imagine anyone being.
He's gonna be one of them. I would just automatically assume like gay and then just go down the list if I'm wrong. So I was like, honey, why are we surprised?
But in like what was I gonna say? It was something about the center, but I don't remember what. Yeah, because Nick had like there was some kind of betrayal or something, and then Benji found out, and then they got mad. I don't even remember, and I was just like,
"Oh, the betrayal that like Benji was, or not Benji, that Nick was pretty much using Benji."
Well, like, wasn't that obvious?
It felt super obvious to me. I was even before we got Nick's perspective. I was like, well, obviously Benji's being used because why else would you keep him other than to use him? Like, maybe my brain is just cynical like that, but
the fate of Black Saxon made me think I was not gonna be mad. Yeah, boring. If you're gonna have all that gore, you might as well write out the sex as well, you know.
True. You could say it's a YA book, but also we have a lot of brain matter being spewed everywhere. So if we could have that, I think we could have some sex.
To me, they were mostly not being looked for because it wasn't worth it. But don't they want everyone to follow their ways?
Yeah. So like you would think, especially because I feel like they would be easy target.
I feel like it was written as a personal story, but didn't get far enough along to really be a true standalone story. Oh, this is true.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as a personal story, it was good. And I
Yeah,
feel like, as I said, there's parts of the story I can really see and really like. But overall, like as a sci-fi book that like I would enjoy, it didn't have that like.
exactly.
Then when it became worth it, it was quick.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah,
Like the rich was the best part because of how personal it was, but every other part seemed half-assed almost. That's just what I felt too.
yeah, you're right.
Didn't the play turn some people like inside out too? Yeah, they were like people they met, and they were just like a zombie.
Yeah, and I was sitting there
And
like,
Benji could control them. Something.
okay, it was the immediate moment I realized that like some of them became zombies. I immediately got the ick because I hate zombie books. So I was like, you had to ruin it. You had to ruin it. No. And then the zombie kind of became the first time we saw it with Benji. I was like, why are we treating it like a dog? It's like, no, don't hurt him. Sit. Go over here.
The most was thought to be saver and all that. They were perceived as angelic creatures, but why?
That
They
was yeah,
didn't do anything. They just turned nasty and died.
literally.
Bye.
I drive home safe.
Also struck with the fact that he used common words for new things, graces, angels, seraphs. I could not keep the hierarchy and their new meaning straight. Yeah, I was confused.
Yeah, I was confused too.
What I got from it was that they launched the play to get rid of like non-believers, and then the Seraph project or whatever was to catch the last batch. I don't even know. I don't know either.
Their
It
plan
didn't
didn't
make.
make any sense.
I think Benji was desperate for connection and thought he had found it.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
I don't know what I was gonna read that. I thought Benji was desperate for
No,
sex. I don't know.
no, but you know what that made me realize, or not made me realize, but something I wanted to bring up is that why did none of the teenagers act like teenagers? Nobody
It's
had
viable.
Benji's father just died days prior, and Benji had felt like no emotion about it.
He did.
Like I understand Benji went through trauma, but I feel like it would just say, "Yeah, that was the last piece of my father," and then nothing else. And I'm sitting there like, including everybody else, no one else felt like they were affected by their situation. I was assuming I would see more anger, more fear, more just teenage emotions.
They had little food. They were emotional about that.
They were emotional about food, but because me too. But like, what else? What else? The only time we saw a hint of emotion is at Trevor's funeral.
Yeah, I don't remember who Trevor was, but I
It was like
remember
the
it was a
funeral at the
funeral.
beginning, and then Alex tried to like kill Benji, being like, "You killed him. You're the reason why my man is dead." It was kind of like that.
I like showing more emotion than everyone else in the book put together. No.
You literally that one, my me doing this was more emotion than everybody else in the whole book.
Sometimes you want to believe even when I have all the reasons not to.
Yeah, do that.
Because you wanted that connection your entire life. No, the cult didn't want new members. I don't think they want to wipe the others out, probably.
True.
Christians are a big love of people melted together. Mm-mm-mm. Not to die. They were used to help for the armies. Yeah, this is true though. Like they were on the last straw, so I guess like they don't have time to. Yeah.
True. Like I see that too, but it's also like, but like if you're going through stuff, like hormonally, it's still gonna come out whether you're going through stuff.
Yeah, just like if you get a boner, it just comes even if you want to or not.
Exactly. Like it's gonna come out at some point, and the fact that it didn't come out in anybody throughout
Oh
the
yeah.
whole book was like, so it's gonna,
Speaking of connection, it was kind of weird to me how they all accepted Benji so fast, given that they know for a fact the cult does not kidnap people, so Benji lied.
literally, like I would immediately start expecting that Benji was sus. Like,
But Benji was like later, like, "Oh, I actually have the special virus thing," and all there's like, "Oh."
yeah, it was just like, why? Especially when Benji just like randomly at Trevor's funeral, like almost killed Alex. Wasn't that not a red flag to everybody? Only Cormac, the one who was like a little bitch the whole time, was like, yo, you trying to kill.
They will not be able to deal with grief because they have to survive first. Food is a primal need. I found the part to be fairly realistic. They probably see plenty of that by then. I mean, that's true. I
Oh,
agree.
that's true, but I'm not talking just about the death. I'm just talking about in everything. So not just about death, but also just in general.
Sometimes your body protests are out. This is true. But
Yeah.
what I want to talk about,
Yes.
this is spoilery. Maybe 25 minutes in, so like.
Yeah, you're good. We can talk about spoilers.
In the end, what was the plan again? Because Benji got captured, and then Nick was gonna come to save him, and it was almost too late or something. I don't even remember what happened there.
I have no clue.
And then like Benji just transformed.
It was weird. It kind of felt like a magical girl moment for a minute.
And then what happened after that? Because I can't remember. Did he kill everyone?
Now I'm trying to remember. I was
And
tired.
like, what happened in the end? I know he was.
I know that
captured
Benji
on
stayed a
purpose.
monster.
He was captured on purpose, and then he transformed like in Transformers. He became a big bad boy. And then what happened? He killed Theo. Here it is.
Yeah.
Something about a tattoo.
Mhm.
Theo had case around the bullet. His warped skull crumpling in itself, like it's been bashed in. His left eye swallowed up into a deep dark hole. And we couldn't get a sex scene.
Also, I really did not like the whole Theo storyline.
Yeah.
It felt kind of unneeded, and I remember throughout the whole book, Benji was like, "I have to remember I'm betrothed, and Theo is my man, and touching the place where my engagement ring used to be." I'm like, "Shut up, shut up! I get it, I get it. I got it the first time. I don't need to hear it every 5 pages."
The relationship between Benji and Theo was more developed than anything else.
You're right.
Yeah, he definitely activated the plague and the people around it, sped it up, and killed them.
Yeah.
Ba ba ba. Now I'm reading the end. Stand down, don't shoot, Nick. Nick, oh god, that's Benji. Put your guns down. So he has murdered everyone, and then what's happening? You need to see the dad. I found mom, and then he finds his mom, very sad. And then what happens? I pull together the flood from its body, what lingers in its corpse, and build. And then he's sad about Theo. And what's happening here? I'm trying to find out. This is like all the way in the end.
And I got to the point where it's like the carnage, God, the carnage.
And then we're done. That's it.
Yeah, it ended weirdly. It ended weirdly.
Nick reaches for me, his fingers pressed against my weird, broken excuse for nose, the ridges of my brows, the soft spot under my eye, and the edge of my jaw, the rough skin, blah 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 blah. And he grabs the back of my blah 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 blah. And it says he pulls me in until our forwards are pressed together again, and then I realize how much I'm shaking until he holds me tighter just to keep still. This is home. I'm alive. These are my friends. This is my family. Wherever the watch is, I'm home. That's it. But is he just gonna go around like this creature and I don't get it.
Everyone's cool with that?
That's it. I don't get it.
I don't either.
It's so weird. I forgot the ending. There was no ending.
Yeah, I kind of looked at it, I was like, I don't know.
Is that it?
It felt like, oh. Yeah, I definitely got annoying after a while.
Benji was really clever, and then he was also really stupid. But I guess a lot of people also in relationship don't see that though, because I guess Theo was the only one who like accepted him.
Mm-hmm. So like I understand, especially because they grew up together. You're gonna be a little black rose tinted glass. I get it, but after a while of reading it, it just got annoying, you know?
Yeah. I love the follow with Theo. I like this part of his past. I did not like the new romance.
I didn't like the new romance either.
The book should have zero romance.
Yeah, I did. I think the romance was just kind of unnecessary
For Theo and Nick, for both.
We didn't need it at all.
And I heard he was by him, but still thinking he loved him. I mean, yeah, that's an abusive relationship. It was abusive, but I still thought it was interesting. Like, I didn't care for like when he went back to him. I was like, oh my god, Theo defected for me, because that was obviously a trap the whole time. Sure. But I thought it was interesting to see Benji look back on a relationship in a way that Theo was the only one who like accepted he was trans. I like, because of this, he believed Theo was good.
Exactly.
But
also, like, I feel like none of the story would have changed if they were just best friends and not like.
Ooh, very true. Except the sex scene, there would be no.
Except there'd be no sex scene. It could be a tension scene of maybe like, ooh, maybe I am thinking about you in a different way, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I thought it was really nice that he had to fall for Nick, but he should have done some more emotional healing first.
And right after Benji's dad died, like 2 days, not even 2 days, it was like two
That's me too.
hours.
After I've been married for like 4 times because I've been like I'm like engaged to so many people, I'll just be like, next one.
Next one. Yep.
Next one. Nick is the beauty, Benji is the beast.
That's funny. No, I remember there was this one part. The one part I remember that there was description is when that sounds shitty, but when Benji was describing Nick's face, I got the instant ick. It was like he still has a chubby face, but like a jawline, and I just assumed he looked like every like 16-year-old boy I went to high school with.
Well, he probably did because he's a
He did, honestly.
60-year-old bald, a 60-year-old boy.
Yeah, he probably
And
did.
he had hope with Theo. Well, he shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have.
Yeah, also need, but also just because he knows where Theo comes from, he knew that the place they were from was bad. Why would you see Theo just turn around in like 2 days? It doesn't make any sense.
True. Like it
Like
would take a little
Benji
bit more time.
escaped from them. They had just murdered his father in front of him, and then Theo comes after him. And is like, I'm also defecting. I won't be like,
But also throughout the book, you still see Benji still struggle with what everything he's been taught. You know what I mean?
True.
So it's like, why wouldn't Theo also not go through the exact same thing?
Yeah, I also needed something more from the ending. It just stopped, not even an open ending. No, it's just nothing.
But you
It's
know what
like
it felt
stopping
like?
mid-scene.
It felt like they forgot to put the epilogue in because
You
like an
know,
epilogue would make sense, but like it felt like they just forgot to put it in the book.
it would have felt like, Hunger Games, and then the Peeta and Katniss win the first Hunger Games. And then, like, when they win, then when they say in the speaker, Katniss Everdeen and Peter Malarkey is the winners of the 84th Hunger Games, and they look
Mhm.
up, that, and then the movie ends, and then we never get anything else. That's how it feels like.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
you
Where
just say to be like, but what does it mean?
yeah, we're like, well, what is the aftermath? What do people think? Are they good? Like
That's how it felt like.
exactly.
Wasn't Theo acceptance fake though? But was it? I didn't feel like it was completely fake.
I felt like
It
there was
was
some.
fake when they were with other people, but like I still felt I was just like, is Theo transphobic or not? I had a really hard time with it because I felt I was the whole time I thought that Theo was just saying that he accepted him, but then it seemed like he actually accepted. I was confused.
Mhm.
I know a few Theos, lol, and you always hope they see and change their minds and fight for themselves. Your Theo is queer.
Mhm.
How about the plot twist that Theo and Nick had been on the same squad though? Nick was also a former cult angel.
I saw kind of that coming. I theorized that Nick was involved. The first time that Benji said something, oh, I can't remember specifically what he said, but something that only like someone in New Nazareth, like someone who was in the cult, would know. And Nick was like, "You said something about something that only a cult leader would know," and I'm like, "How would you know that, Nick? How would you know that?" But then also there was a part where it says like, "Yeah, nobody knows anything about Nick." I'm like, "Oh, because he's probably a part of the cult." That's what I
I
did.
don't remember how I felt about it. I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. It felt kind of obvious to me. Or
I
like,
felt like it was clear that Nick was an angel from the start. When you say Nick was an angel, it confuses my brain because then again I get the image of wings and everything, and then
mhm.
it is not. It's just
You got to think about it like a Cassandra Clare.
but they don't call him as an angel, so just have angel blood.
True, but like it's a better visual.
Very true. But they call themselves shadow hunters. They have an actual name.
You're right.
Can we just say soldiers in army? I feel like they're more of soldiers. Followers, the other if they're angels, it's confused. It's another word, you know?
Yeah, I was thinking of a word that
I was expecting that.
yeah.
I mean, they mentioned him having the typical scars that the Death Patrol troop or whatever would have. Why did they have scars again? I don't even know.
They mentioned it in his chapter, in the first Nick chapter, where it said like, yeah, he had like the wing scars on his back. I'm like, of course he does. But
Oh
I knew,
yeah, because
yeah, but I knew before that point. Before that point, I knew that he was an angel because it was not so very secretly put into the story.
I don't feel that this acceptance is fake, but I think it was struggling with it, conflicted because how it was raised.
Hmm.
But it was kind of hidden they've been on the same squad. But did it have any meaning that they were like? Doesn't matter.
I feel like it didn't really. Other than just that Nick was like, I know you.
Kind of, but the stories about Theo's gone, I remember thinking, this is someone we know because why tell us otherwise? True.
Exactly, because there was no point.
Once I realized Nick was a fallen angel, it clicked. Yeah, but that's the point of them being called angels. It's a religious cult, so they see themselves as angels. Well, they could have
Yeah.
come up with a more original name.
They could have been like
Like, I
disciples.
don't mean the author. I mean the people in the army should have come up with something more original. How dare they claim to be angels that is made of God, huh? How dare they claim?
Disciples. That's a good one.
Yes.
It could have been disciples because that makes more sense. I understand that, you know? Also, it worked.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. What else can we say? Are we done
Um,
now?
I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think about
The
like the
world
plot.
oh yeah, we talked about the world building was just confusing. We were in like I don't I was trying to
Grieve
what
what?
I was trying to what? Oh, the fact that we weren't allowed to grieve.
I don't know what we're talking about. What did you say? You were trying to what?
Um I was trying to figure out how all this works on a worldwide global level because we only really saw in this one specific area and I'm just like how did this work with everything? Are there
I don't
different
know.
sects everywhere? How are they communicating? If there is. Or is just everybody else in the world is dead except this one specific area?
I have literally no idea. Maybe in other places in the world they're just like barely surviving because like the virus killed like a bunch of people.
Yeah, because I'm assuming at least there's probably at least pockets of like I'm assuming there's at least going to be like a band of travelers in every city
Yeah.
because like most people died, but not everybody died.
Then the queer youth center should have just left far away from the center. Why did they live right by them? Idiots.
True. I also found it weird that they were still so reliant on their like, oh yeah, but make sure you use the tampons. I'm like, it's been 2 years. We haven't thought of a better system yet. Also, they kept mentioning, oh my god, peanut butter. Is that stuff not expired? It's been 2 years.
I think they have a long
Not
expires
peanut
date.
butter.
Oh. Well, maybe they can produce peanut butter. They are magical angels.
Because like the canned stuff I understand, but I was like, peanut butter lasts like a year. Like I'm assuming, I don't know. It's one of those things.
I thought if you think about like the plot alone, it's like him escaping, he comes to like a rebel group. That's basically what they are. Then just like back and forth, we like each other, there's a betrayal. He goes back to Camp Trap, he kills everyone. Done. That's the whole book.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's a bit like
I just saw you comment about the rest of the world just left the US to its own devices. And I'm like, yeah. It also was a question I had about the Hunger Games. What about the rest of the world? Like, what? I kind of forgot because it's been a minute since I read the Hunger Games, but you know what I mean? I was like,
they don't mention the rest of the world, but also I feel like if US went into that, I feel like the other states of the world would have like different shit they're dealing with.
right? But do you think if the rest of the world found out the US is putting teenagers to death, you think they would have
but I think at that point the world was so fucked and like resources were so scattered that everyone would have enough for themselves.
Yeah, but I would feel like at least a mention. Saying like, other civilizations exist.
Nah.
Because like, is everyone else having a similar system to the Hunger Games? Or is everything different?
I don't think it will make sense after the group to come up with they want a direct connection. Well, it made the book confusing.
I feel like Disciples is still kind of
like at all in general. They weren't allowed to grieve anything. Person in your family dies, how they would be sad because God decided their time was off.
Oh yeah, because the cult members.
Who cares about the rest of the world anyway?
Literally,
you're grieving your dead family members and offense against God in a cult.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, who cares about dead people anyway?
Yeah.
It reminds me of that one book about vampires where you find where at the end you find out it was just the US.
What book was that?
I don't
It
know.
sounds familiar, but like I can't remember. But also, yeah, it's kind of those things where it's like, because like even in the sorry, I don't know why my brain went back to the Hunger Games. Did no one go to Canada or Mexico? Like anyone just flee? Like at least 10?
Maybe they said it was like a big war. Maybe like the rest of the world just like were murdered by the US. Who knows
Like I'm sure
actually?
I was like, this is so confused.
It's going to check a jar of peanut butter right
Like,
now.
let me check my jar of peanut butter. Let me see. I'm gonna
The
fact check.
hormones had expired as well. That must have been rough for some of them if they wanted to transition in any way.
Okay, I bought this jar of peanut butter last month. It says it expired in August 2023. So not even or less than a year.
I guess the author didn't care if the peanut butter was expired.
No, because it's like I don't. What kind of peanut butter are y'all using? Like,
As a person
especially
of the US, I feel like the US cut contact with everyone and started a couple let's call me matches that you guys do it.
that's giving very what is it called? Handmaid's Tale, where just the U.S. just cuts everyone all else off.
I got a tube of honey. It's my desk honey. Your desk honey. It's expired 2024.
Well, yeah, honey doesn't really expire though. Usually, when there's like an expiration date, it's usually because the plastic starts to affect it. But like honey itself doesn't really expire.
The US does a lot of stuff that we pretend we don't see because we can't do anything about it to BH, so it seems feasible.
Yeah, that's fair.
Prefer my peanut butter does last 1 year.
Exactly. So it's like,
You're
how
on
do
your
they
own.
have peanut butter?
I feel like if US like did Handmaid's Tale, people would be like, eh. Because
Yeah,
there's shit happening in so many countries in the world. No one does anything about it.
true. It always like it's always interesting to see if like when it's specifically like these things happen because if it's just something that only affects the US, like the US economy affects literally everything else. So like when the US has an economic crash, everybody else is affected. So then it's weird that they see no other countries mentioned because they would have devastating consequences as well. At least how the way
Yeah,
it's set up now.
but the book, as we have discussed, was not able to go as deep as it wanted. So
True.
I don't think, yeah.
In relation to that, I hated the half-assed climate change message in this book. It was just like religious. Oh yeah, but then look, the climate's probably healing itself now because everyone's dead. And it was like, why even throw that in there? Why even throw that in there? If you're not going to expand on it, don't throw it in there.
Time to be real right now. I'm gonna put you in my be real.
Do it.
I am. Perfect.
Love it.
Oh, I drink a lot of tea with honey, so keeping it supplies on my desk. I would feel like it would be sticky and I would hate it.
What, honey?
Like having honey at my desk. It is the package is always sticky.
Oh, that makes sense.
I don't think it would be wise to go into that much detail about war consequences. I mean, they did it was mentioned like a bit. Something about like I think Norway was mentioned. I was like, oh my god. But now I forgot.
It's kind of like one of those things where it's like it feels weird to like we don't need to go into detail, but it feels weird to not mention that other countries exist when there's a global pandemic, kind of thing, like a global virus. It's weird to notice, global.
Isn't Summer Now fire? Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of different possibilities, a lot of complex situations you need to hold serious.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like but I feel that's part of what you have accept is in post-apocalyptic setting that it's not all perfectly explained, especially when it comes to economics. I don't count that as a flaw.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be perfectly explained, but I'd like some explanation.
Well, I just realized there's no explanation in the Hunger Games for the rest of the world.
Well, yeah, that was just one thing I thought about, but like,
I
yeah,
still love Hunger Games.
yeah, that's just one thing I thought about it. But at least the Hunger Games, the rest of it made sense. Well, this didn't. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, I just noticed one thing that didn't make sense. Well, this is like, I just noticed one more thing that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you need a whole series. Don't know what you're doing with your honey, but mine isn't sticky. The package is so sticky, and I just need to have it in a plastic bag. And every time I use it, I'm just like, oh, it's
Why do you
sticky.
have it in a plastic bag?
Because the package is sticky.
Put it in a jar.
It's in the jar. The jar is sticky.
Girl, what are you doing with your body?
In the Legend series by Marie, we get
Other
to hear about other countries. So that's
example.
an example of the stuff that is not
Yeah,
only stuff.
yeah.
I have read
Because you would
this,
think
but I don't
that
remember.
what?
I have read this, but I don't remember.
Oh, I haven't read it, but yeah, I don't know. Because especially because wait, there was also this one part that I was kind of confused about of what year it was. Mine is always sticky too. That makes sense. But there was this one part where I was kind of confused of what year, like theoretically, what year it was, because they were talking about stuff from like 2016, but then I saw a quote from 2038, and I was like, wait, what year is this? Like, I'm confused.
Yeah, they could. That was not mentioned either. Again, no details.
Yeah, like you don't have to tell me the exact year, but then also that's a big age difference, especially when or year difference, especially when the main characters are teenagers. If they were like in their 50s, I wouldn't even notice. But
Well, why are we talking about
my appreciation
this?
for Greenbone Saga. Oh, because the Greenbone Saga just talks about the whole world and not just one little area. We love that.
We love it either way.
I saw someone posted a rant review of Jade Legacy, and I'm like, for my mental health, I'm not gonna watch that.
Wait, imagine all random people dead in the house that cities must stink. I mean, they
They
would
did
just
mention.
rot.
They did
They will-
mention, yeah,
It would stop stinking after a while because I won't be decomposed.
yeah.
I just think about all the poor animals that will just starve to death in their owners' houses.
Well, they would all just eventually become feral.
Mine is over. Yeah, we read it. Honey jars, oysters, even in trees. Like, yes, exactly. That's what I'm
Clean up your honey jars. Don't
saying.
let it drip on the sides.
I have only read book 1 and 2, and I haven't read even number 3 in the first trilogy yet, so no.
My mind is blown.
I own like almost all Marie Lou's books, and I read 2.
I love that. Even her new series? I read the first one in her new series. That is the only book I've read from her.
No, because like it's annoying because then suddenly she's stopped being published in the UK. So like the new series doesn't match the old ones I have. It's super annoying. I haven't bought them.
Wait, the new one? Her duology?
Yeah, Sky Hunter one. It's
Yeah,
like it's only the US hardcover, US paperback won't match my UK paperbacks, which I have all her other books in. And I'm just like, oh, they need to buy hardcover, but it won't match the other ones. They won't be able to stand together.
Makes sense.
And no, it doesn't matter. But it's annoying. Why can't you just be keep published in the UK? Or
Yeah, it's kind of random.
Yeah, either way. Especially since all her other books matches, and then her latest one just didn't. Or like the deal that she got is like the English language one for the whole world, so it won't come in those editions.
Makes sense.
Either way, that was my favorite bit of Legend series. Haha. Okay, do we have more?
I don't feel like it. I don't think so.
Sounds like I don't miss anything by not reading this book, and that I need to read Greenbelt Saga. Oh, you get more in book 3 and 4. Book 4 set in Antarctica. Nice. I want to live in hell so that I'm not alive anymore.
Me. Oh, we never rewrite the book. We need to go back to the drafting stage because we need to figure out. I think also is that
first order of business. Sorry, no angels.
Yeah, we changed the terminology, but I think the first order of business is the writing style. It was easy to write, but we need a little bit more description. Like again, I don't know what anything looks like.
I kind of like, even with all the gore, I kind of don't even have a picture in my head of how Benji ended up looking like.
Yeah, like I'm confused. Like, I feel like even before that, I have no clue what even Benji's human form looks like.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. It could be anyone. But I want to know, like, when he becomes this creature.
Yeah,
does he look like? Does he look like the blue people in Avatar? Does he look like? I can't come up with anything else.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just confused about the whole
situation. Does he look like Beast from Beauty and the Beast? Like, he's a big, like, is he furry? Is he?
He's a furry. Is he like a goat man? I don't know.
If this is how Benji ended up looking like, then it's basically just a human.
There's a human with wings, and that's kind of lame.
Yeah, that's not what we were going to describe. They said like he doesn't have a nose. He's like, I don't know, like
Very
some.
clearly has a nose on the cover. Very clearly has a nose on the cover.
He just has some wings then with like, I don't know, like some bleeding and
Some
then some
bleeding, some
eyes.
fans, but
I feel like also we could explore more like his abilities. Like I feel like we properly didn't get to explore like what abilities did he gain? What can he actually do except
exactly,
turning ugly and kill people?
exactly.
Ow.
We can make the plot a thing. We can make the plot interesting. We can fix the ending because why did it end like that? We could at least have an epilogue. Expand on the secondary characters.
I feel like we kind of just need to change the whole plot. We need to change the setting. We need to go to outer space. We are in the future. And then they make like we have like these angel metallic creatures that control everything.
Yeah.
And then Benji is like the next one to be made, like a new upgrade where they're gonna use like human and like cyber technology. And then it goes wrong because like he doesn't want to do that. He's forced to do this, and then he runs away, and they're gonna stop this. So it will be an intergalactic war.
Yep. You know what I realized throughout the whole book?
What?
I just kind of imagined like because like for some reason when I read I kind of like imagine it like it's like a movie or a TV show going through my head. I just
Oh, dude.
imagined the director was like, do we have a stereotypical looking post-apocalyptic set? All right, cool, bring it in. And it felt like we were just reusing old sets throughout the whole thing because I didn't know what to describe anything as.
I feel like the space thing I just described will work. Just another planet, another place.
Yeah.
Like
Or we can go in a different way. We can go on a Hunger Games route.
yeah, but imagine if we were in like space somewhere, we wouldn't care about other planets because we would just be focused on like whatever where the hell we were, and yeah, it wouldn't
True.
matter.
True.
And then he would have like all the same characteristics. He would meet a group of queer people together. They would fight, and then take down the evil people, and then we
Yep.
would be done. I don't even know. I probably could have been more interesting.
Yeah.
At one point, his chief just meant only because of the series Files of the Dragon. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of got like a zombie image in my head, but then it was like later, Nick came and just like touched his face and everything. I was just like, doesn't he have like open like sores in his face?
Pretty much.
So I was just like, ooh, because I don't like to think about that.
Mm-mm.
We need to ship a clone. No clones is necessary. Just.
Literally, that's what it felt like. What's like, hey, did Divergent just finish wrapping up? All right, let's just change it a little bit so it looks like it's not the same set. And that's exactly what it felt like.
Okay.
That's immediately what my brain went to. And I was like, what is happening here?
So, what do you end up rating it, you think?
Why do I want to give it less than a 3? Because I feel like I enjoy. Because now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what did I like?
What did I like?
I like the rep. The rep doesn't justify a 3-star to me. The rep gives it like, we'll bring it to a 2-star, but I need more to bring it up to a 3.
I feel like I would read it from the author of the future though, because I feel like the author has big capabilities to write stories and really good at, I think, writing inner turmoils.
Yes.
And like, I love that, but the story itself is just not strong for me.
I was looking if this is their debut, but it doesn't. Is it? It doesn't.
I think it is. I think.
Oh, it is. It is their standalone debut. It looks like they've been a part of like a short story collections, but like novel debut, this is their first. So yeah, I would definitely read from them in the future because, like, again, I like the writing style, and again, as a debut, it's going to build from this, but just not a fan. Not a fan.
I think I had a fun at the time, but once you start thinking about it, it's like, yikes.
Yeah, see, I didn't even have a fun time. I was just kind of sitting here like, I'm confused.
I read it really fast, and then I was done. I was just like, oh my god, 5 minutes over. It was boring.
It was just boring. That's why. I feel like if it was at least a little enjoyable, I'd be like, okay, cool, 3-star. But I feel like you can't even justify that.
Yeah. But I have hopes for him in the future.
I do too.
Well, it says here that he has another book coming. And
Ooh.
it's called The Spirit Bears Its Teeth, set in an alternate Victorian England where medium controls the dead. Silas Bell must expose a power-hungry secret society while confined to a crew finishing school designed to turn him into the perfect wife.
Okay, well, one thing I like the premise, but I have never enjoyed a book with a character with Silas.
I love the name Silas. I'm ready.
Like
And
I
then
read Margaret Rogerson's book, the
Sorcerer of Thorns.
yes, hated it.
I
2 star.
like that.
No,
Well, we don't need to talk about that. And then he has another book coming. It was a two-book deal that says
ooh,
compound fracture and apple, I can't even read this word.
Appalachian.
Appalachian
Appalachian. Chin. It's
Appalachian teen
Appalachian.
survives an attempted murder with the help of an ancestor who died in West Virginia. Cold Wars, only to go drawn into a struggle between the rural poor and those who exploit them.
Okay, see, those sound interesting. I
Yeah,
want to read those.
I mean, this sounded interesting too.
You're right. Well, I won't know until okay. If I read another one from them and I don't like it, then maybe they're not the author for me. But I need at least 2 books, to like
Yeah.
know. But
Okay, do you have a queer book you want to recommend before we go?
the- okay,
You
so
haven't read a single thing, have you?
no, I have, but the last one I read was probably one of the worst books I read this year.
Well, don't
It
recommend
was
that
a
one then.
it was a holiday queer book, and I feel really bad about it. But no, I don't because it was bad. It was just bad, and I want to rant about it.
Well, we're skipping you then. No ranting here. We
Even though
just
you're
nice
ranting
people.
this whole time.
No. That was a great discussion. I have Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry.
I'm so
I
sorry.
didn't know this was queer because I don't know. Even though the cover is gay as hell.
The cover
And
is
I was
so gay.
and I was but I think I searched I tried to search up if it was queer and then nothing showed. And I
Oh.
was just like, oh. And I was so disappointed. And then I read it. So gay. I think we would read it for the club and really enjoy it.
Mhm. I want to read it so bad.
Really loved it. It's just about an orc opening a cafe, and it's just the cutest thing,
Oh,
and it made me happy. And the author's running more in the world, and I'm ready.
I
I'm
love
ready.
love it.
And I really, really recommend it. It's a really sweet book. Should have thought read this instead. No, I'm joking. It's not like that sounds. I don't regret reading this,
Mhm.
but I would have survived not reading it. You know.
Exactly. Like I feel. Yeah, you're right. Legends of
Was
Lost Place because of Sandra.
I have a different cover though. Oh, you have the ugly one.
Yeah, you have the ugly cover. Sounds
My
cool.
current book. Oh, this I also read.
Oh, did you like it?
I really, really enjoyed this one. It was really nice. I think you wouldn't like it too.
Ooh.
It reminded me a bit of like Space Between Worlds.
Ooh, okay.
I really like Space Between Worlds.
It was a good book.
I just read a lot of Toon books, so I recommend those.
Nice.
Well,
And I was trying to look, and I was like, did I like any queer books lately? No. I'm okay.
I think-
Wait, there was a mystery thriller that had some queer characters in it, but I don't.
nah, that doesn't count.
They were main characters though, but it's like
Oh, okay.
6 and 2 were queer, but like they're not revealed to be queer until like a third of the way through. But does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what I mean.
If you just want to know what it was In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by.
Well, I want to read that, but then I'm like, do I want to read that?
It was. I gave it a 5-star. It was really good.
Oh, because
really good.
I decided to not read it after all, but I guess I have to read it now.
It was like, I don't know. I was really intrigued, and well, one, I didn't guess who did it at the end. They were like my second or third choice, but it wasn't my top choice. But I just thought it was really interesting the way that was. I don't know. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
But would you say that this is the weakest year of facing gays? Because I feel like a lot of the books we read this year was a bit like
Meh.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty weak year, I'd say. I would need to give it a minute to actually go and rate them, like make a rating. Any queer manga recommendations? No.
I mean, we did read Master of None this year.
Oh my god! Don't remind me. That was.
So what is your favorite, Dark Hole Star or Dark Hollow Star or Master of None.
Okay. Darker Hollow
One.
Star made me more viscerally angry, but Master of None is the worst novel. Does that make sense? So like I have stronger like hatred for a darker
Ow.
one, but Master of One was just objectively a terrible book. And if some people liked it, I don't. It's one of those things where it's like, yes, there's a book for everyone, but that one book, I'm like,
I feel like we could have a online show just talking about our previous facing gaze pick.
you know what? You know what? I would reread that book and annotate it so I can.
No, not reread them. Just like
No,
talk
no, just
about them.
specifically that one, just so I can rant about it because I was like, yes, Master of One equals Fever Dream. Literally, like what even was that? I don't
So I
understand.
was looking at the books,
Yeah,
all the books we read here.
because I don't have them physically. So yes. Okay, what was your favorite
Of all,
of all this year?
this year, Iron Widow,
Yeah, Iron Widow was great.
and then maybe Darkness Outside Us and Master of Jin.
Yeah, those ones were definitely high up there too.
And then like after
And then
that
everything
probably
else
like
on the same level.
huh?
I think I said everything else after those three is kind of like on the same
A
level.
bit, but like Sorrow Land and like Lake Lord, they were okay.
Yeah.
But then like we have First Sister, Master of One, Bluebird, and Memory Librarian. They're all like a bit meh. I mean, Book Eaters was a bit meh, and then this one was a bit meh. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's 6. It's over half that was meh.
They were just kind of like definitely.
But yeah. Any queer manga? You already read the one I like.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been reading queer manga. I've been reading manga from my childhood that is very questionable in this day of age.
You should read Bloom Into You. I really enjoyed that. That was sweet.
I've already read it and watched the anime.
Yeah, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Sarah.
Oh,
there was a sex scene in that one. It was really sweet. It wasn't like
it was sweet.
It was really sweet. I was crying. I was just like, my babies.
I was like, it's cute. Dick Fight Island was great.
And I'm back. Hello.
Hello, hello. Love it, yes.
There was no lesbians in space.
It is
Either way, I'm so sorry. I feel like we're burning previous facing gaze book in Ever Live.
always.
Either way, that was it for the discussion. I'm sorry for anyone we offended. If this book meant a lot to you and you found your rage and solace and comfort in this, I'm really happy for you.
Yeah.
I feel like it is a book for a lot of people. It is a book I would recommend to people. Like, if they ask for certain things or if like they were trans, etc., I would recommend it because I can see a lot of people really enjoying it. But for me, it's just like not what I love in a book.
Yeah, like I needed more from it.
Yeah.
And it's just
But that is me as a reader.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it's not, if people said they love this, I would just be like, that's awesome. I wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be like the reaction if they said they love Master of One.
Yeah, if they saw Master of One, I'd be like, did we read the same? But like I would need them to go point by point on why they liked it, and then I'm gonna dispute every single one of those.
But like in this, I would get at once why you liked it.
Exactly. I'd be like, you know what?
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Character, that's fair. I get it. You know.
Yeah, or like I don't know, like they thought it was pretty cool. I also think it will be like a fun book for people who like, don't care about all the shit that we care about. More like just a dystopia book with queer characters being like gory. Like people love that, but we are just like we want that and that. Yeah,
we're picky sometimes.
It's not always about being picky. It's just when you come to a point you read so much that you need stuff to make the book stand out for you.
Exactly. And if not, it just becomes kind of like middle of the road, just like every other book kind of thing.
Yeah, if you're like 16 and you're like looking for like queer books, etc., and you haven't read 6,000 other books, I feel like it's
True.
Yeah, right. But also you can of course enjoy it without having read 6,000 books. Either way, we're gonna go. I keep talking.
All right. Alrighty. We'll see you everybody later.
You better arrive for 5th season. This is so good. I have read this before.
I'm excited to read it for the first time.
So if you're not there, I will Okay, no.
Don't.
Bye. No, I'm not gonna try. Bye.
Bye.